Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. More than a week into the new TRAI regime, CNBC TV 18 has learned that 30 to 40% DTH subscribers have fully migrated to the new regime, with 20 to 30% of MSO subscribers migrating completely. While migration is in full throttle, there are plenty of concerns on cable bill rising under the new regime. A CRISIL report that claims that monthly television bill for viewers opting for the top 10 channels would go up by 25%, while TRAI Chairman R.S. Sharma has argued that bills would see a decline. CNBC TV 18's managing editor Shireen Bhan discusses this subject with Winsley Fernandez of Indecent Media and Ramesh Vaidyanathan of Advaya Legal. Before we dip into this conversation, let's hear what R.S. Sharma had to say on TV tariffs.
In Mumbai, the average pre-NTO, pre-new tariff order, was 325 rupees ARPU, which is basically a consumer was on an average paying 325 rupees in Mumbai. Now, post ARPU, those people who have selected this, their consumer price is 271 rupees. In Delhi, it was 303 ARPU. It is now 265. CRISIL has given this report, and we appreciate the professionalism, and we know that they are a highly professional body. But I think in this particular case, their analysis is not based on correct inputs and assumptions.
Well, that's the TRAI chairman saying that the process of migration is moving smoothly and successfully, and also adding that it has in fact become cheaper, not more expensive for consumers after the new tariff guidelines have kicked in from the 1st of February. Winsley Fernandez, the CEO of Indecent Media and Communications, with us here. According to their report, with the new norms, a consumer staying in Mumbai could save 54 rupees on a monthly basis, which is pretty much what the TRAI chief there was pointing out. In Delhi, they're expected to save 38 rupees. Ramesh K. Vaidyanathan, founder and managing partner of Advaya Legal, also here with us. He's been instrumental in advising corporates on the impact of the new tariff order and on their own business. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here. Gentlemen, let me start by asking you, and Ramesh, I'll start by asking you, what is the feedback that you're getting from the ground at this point in time?
Thank you, Shireen. I think the chairman went a bit overboard, if you ask me, because I think in his over-enthusiasm to defend what he has rolled out, and I can understand because he's fought through a long legal battle to get this point. I think we have to allow it some more time before before things pan out. The feedback I have got from the market and some of our clients is that it's just too early to speak anything about it. There could eventually be, if there is an informed choice, there's greater transparency, which is what is the objective. We have to wait for the market to play out. I think for the chairman to roll out some statistics at this point seems a bit over-anxious in my view.
Okay, I think the statistics come from Indecent Media and Communications. Winsley Fernandez with us, the CEO of Indecent Media and Communications. And Winsley, this is the argument that people are making that, look, what is the basis for these numbers that have been thrown up? Because this new tariff migration has only happened from the 1st of February. Isn't it a bit premature to suggest that the average ARPU is down by 50 rupees or 60 rupees, whether it's Mumbai or Delhi?
Okay, Shireen, thanks for having me, first of all. And I think data is data, irrespective of whether it's preliminary or otherwise. We've commenced migration from the 1st, so all the data that we're actually representing is realistic data. This is not analysis, this is not conjecture, this is not assumptions, and this is not estimations. We're realizing that consumers are exercising their right to choose their packages. Packages that they have selected are actually cheaper than what they were paying earlier. A lot of consumers there are choosing to go with an FTA package, a free-to-air package, and selecting 1 or 2 pay packages. Now, that's an interesting trend because that is not something that they could do earlier.
Since you're raising the issue of the FTA channels, here's a comment that's come in on our social media page responding exactly to that, saying nonsense, freedom of choice of all DD channels, and some random channels are added in the first 100, plus the cost is increased compared to the previous pack.
Okay. So here's again where there was, and like I said, I think it's a matter of communication. the TRAI regulations, the new regulatory framework, Shireen, allows you to even pick up your FTA channels. The only compulsion that consumers have, and which is rightly so, is the 26 mandatory DD channels. The remaining channels in that first 100 bouquet can be a mix of pay and FTA, and it can be based on the selection of a consumer.
Ramesh, and the assumption was that could there be a stay, could there be more leeway, more flexibility as far as the implementation of the guidelines were concerned, and maybe broadcasters as well as service providers didn't do a good enough job of communicating, but the consumer now seems to be caught in a bind and some confusion. So, do you believe that over the next few weeks we will see this evening itself out?
Yeah, I agree with you, Shireen, because if you look at it now, it's utter chaos, and I don't quite share the enthusiasm of the my fellow speaker, because if you look at, I think they could have done a lot more in terms of giving more visibility to what's going to happen, training people on what can be done, allowing some kind of a transitionary period.
Several other people again on our social media case also saying, one gentleman saying that my television is off for the last 8 days. What exactly is the problem there? If you've migrated, then why no service?
This is kind of a challenge that we're all facing in the industry. We're 180 television households. We're talking about migrating close to 120 million primary points over the next, from 1st of Feb to the 14th of Feb. Of course, we're going to have hiccups. There's no question about it. But I think we're seeing already, people doing close to 1 million customers of transition a day. Why is there a blackout? That is a cause for concern, because as per what even the TRAI has advised us, that digital platform operators should not be blacking out customers. And if that is happening, that is genuinely, I say this with complete confidence, that is genuinely most unfortunate, because either we have created, especially for consumers, we've even created like a intermediate migration pack. Special packages have been created, Shireen, for consumers like those. So there is no inconvenience. The one clear mandate from TRAI is that there must be no inconvenience to the consumer at any level and at any point in time. So this is unfortunate. I'm not defending.
But Ramesh, and this was a big concern as we were looking at this migration. What happens to the MSOs? And clearly the MSOs are not on board, as we've just heard there from Wensley as well.
Yeah, MSOs and the local cable operators are all at loggerheads now, because there are going to be multiple legal challenges that are going to spring up in different courts. So I think the big thing is that whether what the TRAI is looking to implement, there is a buy-in from all stakeholders. I think unfortunately no, and that's the reason why I buy the point that such a large-scale migration will take time. But when you're, for example, deciding revenue share, it's one way it's good that you're actually every person in the chain is actually now being told what is your share of the revenue. But at the same time, how are you assuring that he's not playing mischief? So if he's unhappy with his level of return. So I think that's the area where we could have done a lot more work.
I don't think for a moment that the larger MSOs are not on board. Every single MSO has been working and developed consumer apps, developed portals, developed packages. There's been ground teams. We've gone out and recruited another 1,100 people across the country. I don't think any MSO is not on board. And I speak this because I smell the battle in the trenches, right? That's where I work. I don't work in an office. I work in the trenches with the troops. And no, I'm serious. And that's the reason, that's why it's so important to hear my viewpoint, is that I do not believe for a moment that MSOs are ill-prepared. They are prepared. It is the scale and magnitude which requires appropriate time to manage the transition.
Ramesh Vaidyanathan and Winsley Fernandez, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18 with your take on the new migration rules and the impact on TV viewing.
An alarming number of people in India die each year due to road mishaps on the roads, prompting automakers to shift their communication from product specifications to safety of their cars and enforcing safe driving habits. With the government observing the Road Safety Week from Feb 4 to Feb 10, Storyboard's Farah Bukwala Vora deep dives into campaigns by automakers such as Nissan, Tata Motors and Hyundai to understand their attempt to drive home the message of road safety.
India's track record on road safety is sobering. According to the Road Transport Ministry, approximately 1.5 lakh people die in nearly 5 lakh road accidents every year in India. Around 48% of these fatalities are in the age bracket between 18 and 35 years. This high rate of road casualties year after year has prompted top automakers to relook at their campaign messaging. An increasing number of automakers are moving away from communication that showcases how fuel efficient their cars are or how sleek their design is, and instead addresses the need for higher safety features in cars, enforcing safe driving habits, and respecting traffic rules.
The simple, vital click of a seatbelt. But this click is hardly ever heard by about 90% of India.
Japanese automaker Nissan commissioned a first-of-its-kind multi-stakeholder study on road safety in India with a focus on rear seat belt usage and child road safety by partnering with India's leading road safety advocacy NGO, Save Life Foundation. The findings of that study revealed a startling reason why 98% rear seat passengers do not use the seat belt. It is uncomfortable and creases their clothes.
90% of Indians are not wearing rear seat belt. Number two, although 70% of them are aware that rear seat belts are available in the car, hardly 7% of them use it. So it's pretty concerning and alarming that we are not able to actually get through the mindset and change the mindset of people that rear seat belt is equally important while traveling in a car.
Why?
In an attempt to get rear seat travelers to buckle up, Nissan created a new seat belt shirt which promises to keep clothes wrinkle-free while ensuring safety to rear seat passengers, which is the underlying premise of its new campaign, Have You Clicked Today?
So, have you clicked today?
We thought that we have to start conversations and spark conversations around this particular aspect, because a lot of children, a lot of elderly are traveling in the rear seat. With the ride-hailing services booming in India, rear seat passengers have become a kind of a daily phenomena.
Our car, the Nexon, which is a compact SUV, is the first and only car in India to achieve the 5-star global NCAP safety rating. So this is a crown that we wear humbly, but at the same time we want to use that message to do our little bit to make the road safer for our customers and try and affect a little change in the way customers choose their cars and what are the elements that they need to focus upon. To be honest, both from manufacturer's side as well as from the customer side, I think a lot more awareness need to be built up in terms of safety on the roads. As far as the government is concerned, I think they are trying from their side different measures, but probably it's not a very integrated approach to deliver safety.
At the end of the day, however, it is incumbent upon motorists themselves to take the pledge to stay safe on roads by ensuring safe driving habits at all times.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back same time next week. See you soon.